Hello everyone, welcome back to DarkElixirClash. I know this is weird, but making a video. Yeah, how excited. I'm doing a live stream, I guess. My stomach, I may feel weird. I may be weird because I drank some eggnog. Well, pumpkin eggnog. Oh yeah, also. Here's the pumpkin. He's a big boy. A big old pumpkin. But the video I'm gonna be showing you. I mean, you probably already read the description of the video and the title as well. So let's get to it. So my plan is that I have an idea for Ubisoft for the next Far Cry game. Now I've seen what other people have said, and I'm like, this is not the type of game I want to play. I mean, this doesn't feel like Far Cry enough, and I want to do a little bit interesting thing right here with the Far Cry series. Because look, the last real Far Cry game was 5. We could all agree that. Past that, it's all downhill. Far Cry 6, New Dawn, blah blah blah. Like Far Cry 5 was definitely the real Far Cry game. The last one. And it's the last Far Cry game to feature map editor. Which I was so disappointed when Far Cry 6 never had that. I'm like, you motherfuckers. You gave us this cool ass game, which I have it on my screen actually. I have the main screen on my screen. Let me see right here. I was gonna play it, but I was like, you know what? Maybe I should do a video of how to have Ubisoft recognize my goddamn shit and be like, hey, hire this man. We should hire him. Bro should be the manager of this fucking project. Like, fuck everyone else. Hire this man. Hire me. Me. Like, bro, I would love to get fucking paid by fucking... Like if Ubisoft fucking took my inspirations to heart. If people were to appreciate me a lot more. And be like, hey, we should hire this man. I would fucking do it. Hell, I'll do acting too if you guys want me to do voice actors. I'm a very good voice actor. I could do that. Even though I have never had experience, but I could probably do it. I mean, shit, I could do it. But anyways, I'm going off topic. So I got a couple of things I want to say for the next Far Cry game, if they do make one. People have said in there's leaks and whatever other shit, or there's not leaks, but also hints about the new Far Cry game. And while I'm hearing and shit, I'm just like, does it fit my cup of tea? Does it fit with me well? So, this new Far Cry game, I want to say, I'm gonna go over some shit. I'm gonna go over some stuff about it. What Ubisoft could do if people start spamming their goddamn forums of like, hey, watch this guy's YouTube channel. Watch him. He has some good ass content that you might actually want to see. Instead of just like, oh hey, let's ignore this dude and just like have like 5 views on this video. I'm like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. I try to do something awesome and all of a sudden I get like less views than those that like post fake ass shit. But anyways. So the theme we could possibly put this to is that we could base it in what's a very interesting country that nobody has never heard, that barely anyone knows or has ever been to. Oh yeah, Turkmenistan. Let's put that shit in there. I've actually watched a video on Everything History podcast and shit. I was like, yeah, that's a perfect ass place to do a Far Cry fucking game on. A country that has the weirdest dictatorship ever. Oh, let's do that. Let's fucking do that shit. Yeah? Oh, you're awesome. And this theme is in Turkmenistan, alright? We're in Turkmenistan. Now, on the protagonist. Now, so the whole theme of this is going to be a revolution. But it's not going to be like how Far Cry 4 or Far Cry 6 revolutions are. This one is where you're not the main character. Fuck that main character syndrome. Fuck that whole a one-man army bullshittery. We're talking about if you don't do an outpost, then your allies are going to do the outpost for you. Without having to fucking, having you be forced to do like an outpost. Yeah, so let me sum this up for you. In this little situation. So you're a guy that got put into this revolution after, let's just say, your plane got shot down or something. You were rescued by a resistance group that is trying to take down your dictatorship, trying to restore power. I can't fucking spell it right. I'm stuttered. They rescue you from the plane. They bring you to their headquarters, which is like underground, very secret and shit. No electronics underground, because if they do, then the government could track them. And so everyone's like in this underground area. There's like stockpiles of like old Soviet arms, like AKs, shotguns, snipers, right? Like anything that the Turkmenistan had from like the Soviet era or something like that. Anything from the Soviet era, like before 1991 when the Soviets collapsed, like before like the kind of weapons that you see in like fucking Vietnam and shit, or in like World War II or something. The kind of that shit, yeah. And so, like, you're brought here. You're told that you, even though you think in your mind, you're like, oh, hey, we're gonna do like a one-man army type of deal. We're gonna be the ones that are gonna be having people rise up and shit. No. That's not the deal here. They pick you specifically to try and it's not just you. It's also a group of people. So you have AI partners that you and your partners would have to sabotage supplements. Meanwhile, the main other groups, like groups that would target military bases, checkpoints and stuff, they'll be doing that while you also do the main missions and shit too. Not just destroying convoys and disarming some localized areas that are heavily armed. Because while you're doing that, you get notifications on your radio, or at least your communications like ally. Like in your group, you have a communications person, and he'll tell you while you're doing these missions that, hey, we have captured an outpost, we have captured a checkpoint, we have captured this and that, we have destroyed this and that, we have captured an airfield, so whenever you want to do some airstrikes, call us in and we will do it for you. Like instead of that whole one-man mission where you're the one that does everything and you're the one that has to make people be like, hell yeah, let's go, let's actually do this shit. No. Not that shit again. No. Fuck that shit. I want to do a whole complete turnover of the Far Cry series. And instead of you rallying people up, the entire group, the entire militia or resistance group does this shit for you. And yes, you can do outposts. Yes, you can take out airfields and shit if you want to. But it's an option. It's not forced. Because if you don't do that, then the allies would do that. Your allies would. Not you. The allies would after like a couple of days of nothing. So if you don't take out like an outpost or an airfield or a checkpoint, like a 1 or 2 days tops, then they'll radio in and be like, hey, we have sent like 20 or 40 guys to take out whatever base or outpost that you have not took in the past couple of like hours. And like the player would, because unlike in Far Cry 5 and shit, your player would actually talk, and just like how Far Cry 6, your player would actually talk and shit and respond. But this time your character is not like a veteran. He's not a well-trained person. Like, you're just a regular-ass motherfucker who somehow is the only survivor in the crash that made it out alive after being shot down by an anti-air missile. Like, it's not an anti-air gun, it's an anti-air missile. So, whatever the fucking government has, it's very advanced. Like, actual, like, modern fucking weapons. No longer of that whole fucking enemies having AK-47s. Fuck the AK-47s enemies. We're giving them fucking AKMs, AK-74s. We're giving them fucking modernized weapons. Just like how Far Cry 5 did. Fuck that whole... We're gonna, like, give the enemies them the weakest ass weapons. Hell nah. Hell, fuck that shit. We're giving them modern weapons to fit the aesthetic of a modernized society that's run over by a dictatorship. We're giving them fucking tanks and shit. We're giving them, like at least fucking, like, modernized tanks. At least, like, the T-72, the... like and shit, like the more modernized weapons that we have today. No longer that AK bullshittery. Like Far Cry 6, 4, and 3 had it and shit. Like, hell nah. Fuck that. Fuck that shit. Hell nah. I hate that shit. I don't know why people wanted to I don't know why people are complaining about enemies in Far Cry 5 not having an AK-40. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I feel like the whole AK-47 everywhere. I'm like, bro, I get that it's the most unitized weapon. But goddamn, we have variety. The AK is not just one weapon. If your player could have a selection of hundreds of weapons, let the enemy have their own selection. At least in Far Cry 6, they gave the fucking enemies at least somewhat of better weapons. Like a way more different shotgun instead of the M133. Because goddamn, that shotgun in Far Cry has been used so much that it's overused at this point. At least they gave them the 1887T shotgun. At least the Ubisoft gave them that shit. At least it's different. Like, I mean, shit, why not just give them, like give the enemies in this game better weapons, better vehicles. Like, yes, they could have old Soviet or maybe some of their own weapons too. Maybe some, like, black market type of shit. But overall, giving them at least modern weapons that the player would have to be smart and be like, hey, they have modern weapons that could probably fucking obliterate us. So we should act smart, not fucking run up to them and shit. Like, look, I want to make the enemies as smart as possible to make the hardcore gamers that might play Far Cry 5, or hell, the YouTubers that play Far Cry 5, have a difficulty at playing. Because look, suffering is a whole part of character development. That's the whole part of having suffering. That's how I view it in Far Cry games. I mean, yeah, I choose easy mode, but I want the enemy to still have capabilities that could outmatch mine. Like, yes, I play on easy mode, but that won't stop the enemy for trying to kill my ass 100 times. Like easy mode, normal, hard, and the harder the difficulty should not be the whole more damage, more health shit. It should be the enemy gets smarter and they learn from their mistakes. So if there's like a medic and there is another, and there's two enemies, okay? Let me give you the whole spectrum. You're in a jungle, you're in a fucking desert. You injure a rifleman, okay? And there's a medic that comes over to him, heals him, and he gets up. What he'll do is that instead of being out in the open, he'll find cover. And if he has like smoke grenades or at least grenades or something, he will throw them at you. And then if he has smoke grenades, then he'll throw them at least a couple feet away from him, so that he'll throw them in a different direction. So it looks like the enemy is going over to that direction, but in reality, he's tricking the player into thinking that he's going to that direction. But meanwhile, he's gonna flank your ass, attack you from behind. And then that will be like the turning point of, oh, these enemies that I'm facing compared to the other Far Cry games, they don't give a shit if you try to kill them. If you harm at least one of them, they'll learn from their mistakes and they'll try to fucking kill you with strategy. Especially at the whole, yeah, let me see here. I know in Far Cry 6, I think it was it the engineer or no? It was enemy. I forgot what enemy. Was it a commander enemy? I don't know. It was when they throw down a smoke flare and they call in airstrikes or at least a bombardment, and that'd be fucking cool. Like if you're doing a mission, like in this game specifically, like you're in Turkmenistan, you're doing a mission, like doing a let's say here you're taking down an outpost, like a big outpost that has lots of weapons, lots of food and shit, a lot of like a huge ass base that has hundreds of enemies, and like a couple of their enemies have the ability to call in airstrikes. And so while you're attacking with like 100 other of your allies, so that it's sort of equally matching to the enemy's side of like if they had like 200 or something. And what some of the enemy NPCs will do will call in an airstrike, but they will make sure that it's quite enough that your player cannot hear them from that far away of a distance because of all your firefights and shit. Like you're hearing guns, explosions, etc. And like all of a sudden, you hear a faint distance, something in the sky, and out of nowhere, half of your squad is out. And then you look in the sky. It's a fucking jet that dropped a goddamn bomb on your goddamn position. That right there is scary. And we need that in Far Cry. We need fucking PTSD up in this shit. Like, I get Far Cry is supposed to be a game and shit, and it's supposed to be fun and shit. But if you're gonna be doing some good ass gameplay, let us be fucking scared. Like, bro, I want to be scared. I want to be fucking terrified of the enemy. I want to be terrified that I don't know what I'm facing. I don't want cutscenes or anything like that shows off how dangerous the group is or the dictatorship is. I want to see the reality of the situation in full view while I'm fighting the enemy. I want them to do strategies. I want them to plan situations. I want them to call in reinforcements when there's too much. None of that alarm shit. They don't have to, like, instead of the player having to walk around slowly or having to sprint everywhere and do cool trick shots like they do in Far Cry games. I want the enemy to know the player as well as possible, just so that they can fuck with the player. Like actual NPCs fucking around with the player. None of that whole we fuck with the NPC. No. The NPC fucks around with us. I want that shit, man. You know how many edits people would do just because the enemy is so like advanced, like they're so like smart and shit about their tactical decisions compared to other Far Cry games. That would be amazing. I would fucking love that. Another thing, I want the dictator to both be serious but also kind of funny at the same time. Yes, he could be a dictator. He could fucking be like Kim Jong-un type of level shit. But give him personality too. Give him at least a little bit more of a funny quirk. Like what if like someone just fucking throws a banana peel on the ground and he fucking trips? That'd be hilarious. But then we will go back to seriousness after calling out the person and have him executed because he didn't fucking throw away his or her trash away. So, I mean, yeah, it could be funny, but also it could be serious at the same time. Like, bro, you just almost killed the dictatorship. That's what you get for fucking doing this shit. Look, we can have that fucking comedy shit right there. We can have that. I want that. I like that. Most shit don't have that. And I wish that shit has that. Like, but anyways, another thing I also want to do for this Far Cry game is instead of having one person be control of everything, we have at least two other people in charge, like Like, maybe, like, henchmen or something. Maybe, not henchmen, but, like, second-in-command people. People who are in the higher-ups, like the generals, lieutenants, commanders, admirals, and shit like that. Have them be in, have the player at least go after, at least, like, the higher-ranking people before getting up to the big boy, which is the dictator. Because that makes the player feel like he's at least doing something to progress. Because if he's just killing a bunch of guys, destroying the shit, taking over outposts, taking over checkpoints, I mean, yeah, it's a big fucking difference. But the real difference is when you take out the smart people. Like, take out the scientists that might actually develop, like, viruses or something like that. Take out the high-ranking shit. Like commanders, officers, lieutenants, colonels, generals and shit. And then when you do that shit, when you kill people like that and shit, at the high rank, top dogs people, you will get like a reaction from your group and the military itself that you're trying to destroy as you're doing this. Like, they have a reaction that, oh shit, they killed one of our commanders or officers, lieutenants or colonels or something like that. And instead of trying to do nothing about it like they did in every other Far Cry game, instead what they would do is that they will train specialized personnel to target specifically you. And if there's allies that are in the way, they'll kill them first before getting to you. But if there's a certain situation where your allies are distracted, they won't go after them. They'll go after fucking you. Like, I want the military in this game to be so advanced. Not technology advanced, but smart enough to have tactical geniuses wondering at the outcomes of battles and shit. Like you have a cutscene that censors the map so that the player cannot really know where the generals are pointing at and shit. I want the player to have the fear of the unknown. I want them to fear the enemy's decisions. Because I want the map, like if there's a cutscene of showing the like command room, and they're pointed toward people like the commanders, generals and shit, at the table when there's a map and shit. I want the map blanked out, making sure that the player cannot see where their current position is on the map, because I want that to be seen too, but also blanked. And I want the actual human sort of like movements from the generals and shit to point them and shit, call like actually having discussion and shit, not just fucking goofy ass stuff, and actually want to be serious. Like, actually be serious. And I want the player to like have to come up with a scenario of like, what are they doing? Like, what are they pointing at? Are they pointing at my position? Are they pointing at a different position that my allies are fighting in? Like, what are they pointing at? What are they saying? Like, what do they mean by that? And then after the cutscene, I'm sorry that if I'm stuttering, it's probably stupid. I stutter a lot. I don't know why. I guess it's just a bug in the system. But anyways, after the cutscene ends, we cut to the player being fucking bombarded by howitzers. Like, you and like 5 fucking dudes, 5 other people, in like a small fucking cramped area, hiding, while the fucking enemy bombards your shit to the ground because they knew where you were. Like, at the first scene, you're fighting. Okay? Good. You're killing the enemies, you're taking out the outpost, and then there's a cutscene. And now you're saying, why is there a cutscene during the middle of a fight? But then you realize after the cutscene, you and 5 other people out of the 100 people that you were with were all dead. and there's only 6 of you left. Scary, literally cowering in a fucking brick-ass building while enemies are bombarding your fucking ass with howitzers. That's the scariest shit. You went from fighting enemies, seeing a cutscene of generals pointing to something, talking about something, and then to the next cutscene, and then to the next scene where you're continuing to fight. You're stuck because you're being bombarded. That would be fucking amazing. That would be amazing. That would be great as fuck. That's the type of shit that Ubisoft needs to do. Another thing I also want to do is that whenever you take out... Oh, never mind. My battery's low. Hang on. I don't want my phone to die while I'm doing this. I didn't make this video for nothing. Hang on. Gotta charge this. Yeah, it's charging. But, anyways, let's continue on. So we take out like a convoy. Or a tank convoy. And instead of the enemy being like, oh no, they took out, and not do shit about it, what they're gonna do is send out fucking jets to bombard your ass. Because why would you waste manpower over a guy that literally just destroyed your fucking tanks or your convoy? Like, bro, you're just gonna waste more manpower. You're just gonna have less enemy. You're gonna just have less manpower because your player character and some of the NPCs will also kill them too. So what I'll do is airstrike whatever position that your player is currently in, because there'll be a cutscene. I want certain parts of the game to have cutscenes, so that you the gamer can realize the stakes of the situation. That this is purely about realism, kind of like more realistic than most Far Cry games, like Far Cry 6, for example. Like, yes, there's some cool aspects to it, but around it's not as realistic as we would imagine. I mean, yes, it's a game. Yes, it's for entertainment. But if people really want a cool, realistic game of like in the Far Cry or something like that, especially like my kind of people like me, then we should get that. Also, for the main screen, when after a cinematic happens after shit, and when you open the game and there's the main screen shit, I want it to be a destroyed Turkmenistan. See that the camera is pointing towards a destroyed city, and like where you see smoke rising up, and then like sometimes you'll see like a helicopter flying in the distance, crashing and shit, or you'll see some explosions, like boom, boom, boom. Like, I want it to be as cool as it is in game. So when you as a player see the main screen, when there's the press play, settings, store, whatever, the credits, the Ubisoft store and shit, and they have the big Far Cry name on top, like right here. I want in the distance a city that's constantly being bombarded, attacked and shit, but it still looks destroyed. Like you hear radio talk in the distance, like faintly and shit, so that the player, or no, you as the gamer, be like, "Oh, look at this cool shit! That's so awesome!" And you see explosions, you see a helicopter crash, you hear like faint radio talks of like position and shit. You hear enemy forces talking. Like, that'd be awesome for a fucking screen. Like, you know how cool that shit is? Like, I have so many good ideas for Far Cry 7. I have so many good ideas. And you know what? Nobody takes me serious. Nobody does it. Like, YouTube would not recommend this video to many people because of my swearing. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I did not make content to just be left in the dark. Hell no. Hell no. I make entertainment so that you, the people, could be both entertained and have a good inspiration for something. At least. Also, another thing is that during like the end game, we killed most of the commanding officers and shit, and instead of the enemy is still fighting, even after their higher ups are dead and shit, and they're surrounded by a lot of resistance forces. And instead of keep on fighting, they decided to join you into taking the dictatorship down, because I want the enemy to both feel ruthless but also more humanizing. Like, at least make them still human enough to be like, yes, they're doing all this bad shit, but the reason they're doing it is because they're brainwashed. Like, bro, we gotta kick this shit out of them. And some of the soldiers would be like 12-year-old kid or like 12-year-old kids and shit, and still wanting their fucking moms and dads that were lost in the resistance. Like, have the players sympathize with some of the soldiers that only joined because they got nothing to lose or nothing left in their life. Like, some soldiers would be like, hey man, I only joined because I'm broke as shit. Like, I'm starving to death in my own house. My parents are fucking dead. My siblings, my wife and shit are starving as hell. Like bro, you gotta help me and shit. I mean, yeah, the personnel would still be held accountable for their actions, for still being a part of the dictatorship even after they're captured, and some of them do want to join the resistance. Yes, they'll still be held accountable, and they'll still be put into labor. They'll be put into like resistance camps to work and shit, to like pay off their fucking deeds and shit, like pay some reputation, like pay reparations and shit. Be like, hey, you destroyed all this shit, so now you're gonna pay for it with your fucking life or your deed or something like that, something like that, yeah. Like, they'll still be punished, but if like some of them do want to join, then yeah, they can, which is like still kind of like okay. But I don't want it to be like the entire military sides with you. No. I want at least like a small, like 10% of the military to still be loyal. So that, yes, like, you kill, I mean, yeah, the resistance kill like 20 mil, like 10, or like 5, like, at least like 500,000 soldiers. But like the 10% of that 3 million would still be loyal to the regime. So you still have to fight through that. But as you're fighting through that shit, like during the entire game, as you're doing that, yes, you started to go insane. But since you're always with and always fighting alongside with allies, that mentality always sticks behind your head, but never gets revealed. Because you're constantly being reminded by other allies that, hey, you're doing this for a great cause. You're not doing this because because you might become a psychopath. You're doing this shit because we're trying to take down, like you're not, you're. I mean, yeah, you did show, like, your player, like, your character would show signs of insanity and try to murder some people, like innocent civilians. But your allies would hold you back and tell you that, hey, take some of these pills, take some of the medication, and if you want, we have a therapist back in our headquarters or any of our other camps that if you need help, you could go over there and talk and shit, talk about your mentality and shit. Like, it's not like how in Far Cry 3, how your character slowly becomes insane. Fuck that. We want your character to both be insane, but also get help during the entire war, during the entire Civil War. And shit. Like, I want the player to have character development. Not through insanity, but by both help and other shit too along the ways. Like yes, the plane crashed. Yes, you lost your wife. But at the end of the day, you could still try. You could, I mean, at least you could still try to get a wife, at least if you can, to try to help that mentality, or you go to therapy. I mean, shit, it's therapy. I don't know what that fucking circumstance was, but fuck that shit. I don't know. Fuck that. What was I even saying? I mean, yeah, your wife died, but you could have therapy. You have therapy that the Allies could provide you with. You're not just a bunch of ragtag people that fucking don't know shit. No. These people are way more organized than the other groups that you have seen in Far Cry games. Like, they're way more better than the Golden Path, the Libertad, the fucking Far Cry 5 Resistance, whatever. Like, they're way better than what you see in any other Far Cry game. These people are top notch. Some of these are even military personnel that used to be in the military. Like we have some old ass folk that have been in the military before, and they teach the younger generations how to train and shit. Like they teach them basic military skills and easy to eat and shit. Like you have the older, like you see like train yards and shit that are being converted into training areas, like train yards and shit, homes that are being converted into military HQ checkpoints and shit for the Allies, just so that they can have a foothold to keep on fighting against the military and the dictatorship. Like I want the player to both feel like that. I want the gamer to be like, hell yeah. Like I want the resistance to already be like already fighting. I don't want how to go to path, yeah, they're fighting. But they weren't really doing anything really. Like if you went AFK in Far Cry 4, you'd probably get nothing done in Far Cry. Like there'd be no missions there'd be no missions completed or anything. If you were AFK throughout every single Far Cry game, what progress would you make? Nothing. You'll make no progress if you were AFK and there was nothing to be done with. Like in Far Cry 5 or Far Cry 4 or Far Cry 6, whatever, like there'd be no progress. No fucking progress whatsoever. But in this Far Cry game, if you're AFK, the Allies would have taken down the government. So even if you do AFK for maybe a couple of real life days, or hell, maybe a month, the resistance group has already taken over the government and has established a diplomatic government. So before you could ever go back to the game is already completed. Well, except for like the side missions, the other shit too, I guess. I don't know. But like, the main mission would be completed because of the Allies. Like, yes, it could be like I want the Far Cry 7 game to feel real, to feel you're at home, to feel like the game does not always need you to do shit. Yes, you can do the main quest, but you don't have to. You can do the side quest. Yes, the Allies would be like, "What the fuck is this dude doing?" for like a couple of hours. But after a couple of hours later, they'll be like, "Okay, this dude, we don't really need him. Okay, we don't really need him. If he wants our help, if he wants to help us, he can. We're not forcing him. We're not doing anything to make him be like, please, sir, please, help us, sir." Like in every fucking other Far Cry game, where like the Allies are begging the player to do something to help with the main quest. Fuck that. I fucking hate it sometimes. Like, goddamn. Give me a game where the game could be beaten without the player fucking help. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, give me a game. Like, Ubisoft, you made the Far Cry series. Give me a game that could actually do that shit. Give me a game that has the NPCs and shit that do the shit for you without having to do the shit manually. Like, bro. I mean, I do want to bring back where the player has a choice between one group or the other. But this time, instead of having the two people being up against each other, like in Far Cry 4 and the Golden Path, yeah, I mean, these two people are cool with each other, but they have totally different ways to do these missions. But they both have the same exact idea of how to establish a government. It's not like in Far Cry 4, where you have two people arguing constantly, breaking up the Golden Path because of their idiocy, because they both have different ways of how to establish the government. Fuck that. We need to get rid of that fucking insane. Get rid of it. Also, in this whole entire thing, is that these two people actually want to establish a diplomatic government. There's no two-sided way. There's one-sided way, because they both agree that the government sucks ass. Because it's a dictatorship. No one likes a dictatorship. No one likes a dictatorship. They don't want a dictatorship. They don't want an authoritarian government. They don't want a drug state. They don't want a police state. They want a country that could benefit the people and the countries outside. Like, kind of like how North Korea is, how it's like all locked down and shit. Kind of like that, how like in this Far Cry game in Turkmenistan, in a universe where you're in Turkmenistan, and like the whole government, like the entire world, at the United Nations, have cut trade, except for like a couple of countries that did not cut trade to Turkmenistan. And so like these two people would be like, hey, after we take over the government, we gotta go. We gotta keep on bettering the people, fixing up shit. We gotta have diplomatic efforts being set through. Like after the end game, after you defeat the government, you actually start seeing progress. Like each day, every time you hop back on the game, that main tile screen, you can see that it's getting at the city in the distance. It's getting fixed, and when you hop back into the game, you can see that the city that you're in, or in a town or something like that, actually generally has progress being done. Like the game updates itself every day. So after maybe like a week, the entire end game, like you see everything is all nice, pretty. The streets are cleaned. No more dictatorship. No military presence anywhere in the civilian area. You actually see police forces. You see civilized folk and shit. You see the sun shining. You see the birds chirping. You see people generally bettering their lives. Like everything like that. And then when you go up to the main tile screen, instead of being all damp and gloomy and dark, because when you first open the game, it's like that. But when you open the game after 7 days of constantly going in and out, after you complete the main quest, you can see that the main screen has become bright, shiny, all sunny. You see the Turkmenistan flag being waved in the distance and shit. You see people walking. You don't hear none of that gunfire, people talking. You don't hear none of that tanks or something like that. You don't see explosions. You see a beautiful skyline with a fixed city and a government that is better in its people, and the dictatorship is gone. I want that in a Far Cry game. I don't want that whole fucking island bullshit where you're countering a terrorist group or something like that. Fuck that. We need a game that will be so good that for many generations people will be talking about it. Like, fuck that whole saving your family type of bullshit fucking leak. Hell nah. Bring in the fucking good shit where we take over the government. Let's bring that shit to hell. Yeah. Be like Far Cry 4 and 6 and shit, where we bring down the goddamn government. But this time it's a lot more awesome. So yeah, that's my take. That's what I want to offer to Ubisoft. If this video gets popular enough. But anyways, Clash on. Hope you have a good rest of your day or night wherever you live. Please like and comment, as well share the video to anyone like family, friends, and others. Make sure to subscribe because you won't get any content like this on the fucking YouTube channel. You won't get me swearing like this much anywhere in the platform. So if you like that I'm swearing like a sailor, good job. You made it on my bucket list of my favorite people on the internet. Anyways, Clash on. Hope you have a good day or a good night. I'll see you all later.